If my life ended now, nobody would go fucking hell. 'Cause I've lived a hell of a life. A fun life. Not all good fun, but I've had a lot of fun in my life. On July 22nd, 2025, the world of rock lost a legend, Ozzy Osbourne. But after the emotional and mournful funeral, a shocking event followed. Ozzy's final will was officially revealed. However, what sparked the most discussion wasn't the assets or inheritance, but the revelations contained within the will, decisions, and wishes no one expected. This will was not just a division of the estate of a music legend. Instead, it revealed surprising information choices that made people think and things Ozzy Osbourne had kept hidden throughout his life. So, what exactly did Ozzy Osbourne leave in his will? Did he prepare a shocking gift for Sharon and their children? The secrets within this will undoubtedly keep you on the edge of your seat. Join us as we uncover the truth behind Ozzy's final decisions in this video. The final days of Ozzy at the estate, Sharon Osbourne was the only one who truly understood that Ozzy was not just a stage legend, but also a man with silent pain and wounds that couldn't heal. From the very first day they met to Ozzy's final moments, Sharon remained a devoted wife, a loyal, resilient partner. Their relationship was built not only on intense love, but also on unconditional sacrifice and a commitment that extended not just in times of prosperity, but through the most difficult moments as well. For someone like Ozzy, who could easily lose himself in fame and the temptations of life, Sharon was the only one who stood by him, grounding him, reminding him of the important things in life and the people who truly mattered. She was the one who remained steadfast in every situation, even as he battled drugs, inner struggles, and prolonged mental crisis. However, during the final years of Ozzy's life, Sharon not only had to face the pain of seeing him change day by day due to Parkinson's disease, but also the anguish of witnessing the man she loved most slowly losing all his strength and resilience. Those final days no longer saw Ozzy as the strong, energetic figure on the stage, but as a weakened man lying in bed unable to care for himself. Sharon witnessed moments when Ozzy could no longer lift a spoon to eat, when he could barely speak, only able to whisper to her words that he didn't know would be his final one. Each morning, Sharon prepared his favorite strong cup of tea, silently performing small gestures, a reminder that she was always there, no matter how much the world changed. Though Ozzy's physical weakness gradually took over in Sharon's eyes, he was still the husband she loved, the partner she had weathered so many storms with. But the greatest pain Sharon endured wasn't just from the physical changes in him, but from watching the loss of a husband who once lived so passionately, now reduced to a mere shadow of himself. Sharon didn't just have to care for him, but also face the heartbreaking reality that Ozzy's departure was nearing. The weight of that knowledge pressed on her heart every day, making each moment with him even more precious, but also filled with deep sorrow. Especially when Ozzy began to feel his fatigue, he would share emotional words with Sharon. On one occasion, he whispered to her, "Don't let them remember me like this. Not in this bed. Not like this." And constant care. She was the only one who remained next to Ozzy through every upheaval in the final moments of his life when illness would not release him. And when the memories of his once glorious time faded away, Ozzy Osbourne's last will and testament. As Ozzy Osbourne's life drew to a close, he not only had to confront the devastating effects of his illness, but also reflect on what he would leave behind for his family, the world, and his loyal fans who had stood by him during the peak of his career. In 2024, when his health had significantly deteriorated, but his mind remained sharp, Ozzy made an important decision to sign his last will. This was not merely a legal document. It was a tribute from a man who had lived life to the fullest, with no regrets for all he had gone through and for the people he loved. Ozzy's decision to sign the will in 2024 was made with careful consideration as his health had been severely impacted by Parkinson's disease. Yet his mind was still clear, and creating this will was an essential step to ensure everything would be divided appropriately when he passed. Ozzy did not want to leave behind just a pile of assets for his family without deeper meaningful values. Those things he truly cared about in life despite living through addiction, rebellion, and numerous personal tragedies. He had a compassionate heart, a special concern for the less fortunate, and social issues he deeply cared for. In his will, Ozzy not only thought about his family, but also left a significant portion of his estate to the charities he had supported throughout his life. One of the most notable aspects of the will was his allocation of funds to mental health Organizations. Ozzy fully understood the difficulties people face when battling mental illness, which is why he dedicated a large portion of his estate to these organizations. His action was a reflection of a part of Ozzy's legacy, not just as a music legend, but as a man who was always ready to help those struggling with invisible wounds. Though Ozzy's estate was worth an impressive $220 million, including material assets such as real estate vehicles and music products, he did not simply divide his assets among his family. He wanted to ensure Sharon and his children would not face financial difficulties after his passing. His will was not just about the division of wealth. It was a set of instructions on how the family would continue to preserve and grow his legacy. Sharon, who had stood by Ozzy through every challenge, was granted a significant portion of the estate. In addition to homes and cars Ozzy loved, he left Sharon a substantial amount of money to safeguard the family's future and stability. After his departure, however, what stood out in Ozzy's will was his desire for Sharon to continue the charitable work and community involvement Ozzy had cultivated throughout his career. Ozzy's children were also assigned their fair share of the estate. He wanted them not only to live in comfort, but to continue his legacy. The provisions in his will regarding their continued involvement in music and preserving the cultural values Ozzy had built were integral to his wishes. Ozzy hoped his children would not just live in luxury, but would follow in his footsteps and help others just as he had done throughout his life. Beyond his family, Ozzy allocated a portion of his wealth to help others in the music industry, those who had helped him build his career. This was a tribute to his colleagues, those who had helped him reach the heights of his success and supported him through the struggles. A portion of his estate was also set aside to support young artists who might face financial or emotional struggles in advancing their careers. For his children, Ozzy left not only material wealth, but also valuable spiritual gifts. His words in the will showed the deep love Ozzy had for his children. He wanted them to live not only under the protection of money, but to remain humble, never forgetting their roots, and to continue making the world a better place. These gifts were not just assets, but life lessons, values that Ozzy hoped his children would carry with them throughout their lives. Ultimately, Ozzy hoped his legacy would not be forgotten after he was gone. He wanted his music to live on in the hearts of his fans and for future generations to continue developing and preserving the values he had established. Ozzy did not only leave behind a musical legacy, he also left behind a story of survival, way of an unrelenting fight, and of lives buried in darkness who still found light and redemption within their wounds. Through this, Ozzy wasn't just passing down assets to his family. He was leaving a piece of his soul, an essential part of his legacy, the unconditional love, sacrifice, and responsibility he had for the world. The last gift Ozzy left for Sharon. When thinking about the legacy that Ozzy Osbourne left behind, one cannot overlook the final gift he gave Sharon, the woman who had spent her entire life by his side through both triumphs and the most difficult times. This gift was not material wealth that Ozzy left in his will, but a subtle and deeply moving expression of the unconditional love he had for Sharon. It came in the form of white bouquets sent to her every day with no note, no message, just the gentle fragrance of the white lilac flowers. The flowers, Ozzy always said, smelled like Sharon's smile. During Ozzy's final days, when his health had deteriorated and he knew his time was limited, he arranged for these bouquets to be sent to Sharon. Every day, a new bouquet would arrive at their home with no name, no indication of who the gift was from. Initially, Sharon thought it was just a gesture from a friend or a fan. But as the bouquets continued to arrive regularly each morning, she began to realize this was a purposeful act, a loving reminder from Ozzy, a promise he left for her even after he was gone. This gift, seemingly simple, was imbued with profound meaning. The white flowers were not just a material offering, but a quiet, poignant act of love and respect Ozzy held for Sharon. The reason he chose white flowers was that they symbolized purity, the eternal love he had for Sharon throughout his life. Each day as the bouquets arrived, Sharon felt the presence of Ozzy in every petal, in the soft scent of the flowers. This feeling made her both comforted and deeply pained, because she knew each bouquet was a farewell and apology and a heartfelt thank you from the man she loved. The gift became even more special when Sharon received a call from the gardener, the person who arranged all these bouquets. The gardener informed Sharon that these flowers had been prepared by Ozzy in advance, and would continue arriving every day with no end until Sharon could no longer open the door to receive them. This gift was not only an act of gratitude, but also a profound gesture representing eternal love, a love that transcends even death. Despite his frailty, Ozzy had still made the effort to create this everlasting memory for Sharon. The flowers were not just a reminder of his love, but also a late apology for the things he had made her endure in the past. Sharon could not help but be moved when receiving these bouquets every day. When the first bouquets arrived, she thought it was simply a kind gesture from someone. But gradually she realized that these flowers were part of her love testament that Ozzy had prepared for her before he passed. Each morning when she received the flowers, Sharon felt as though a part of Ozzy was still with her quietly and sincerely. However, the pain was unavoidable. Each time she received the flowers, Sharon felt the absence grow more distinct. The white flowers were not only tender but also a reminder of death, of the departure of the man she had loved all her life. For Sharon, these bouquets carried a special message, one of undying love, a love that transcends death. These flowers were the survival of the love Ozzy had for her. When Sharon read the brief note from the gardener about the flowers continuing until she could no longer receive them, she realized that Ozzy had prepared a lasting comfort for her. These flowers were not just an unspoken love, but a way for Ozzy to say goodbye, while also leaving a part of his presence in Sharon's life. However, for Sharon, each bouquet made her feel the absence more acutely. This gift, though full of love, was also a part of the immense pain that she could not avoid. Ozzy was no longer there, and the flowers were now just memories, traces of a love that had passed forever. Sharon felt profound sorrow knowing that each bouquet was not just a gift Ozzy left behind, but also a reminder of the inevitable separation. The gift Ozzy left for Sharon was not just a material possession or a gesture of obligation. It was a gift full of love, full of sacrifice, something that only Ozzy could give to Sharon in the final moments of his life. These flowers not only symbolized eternal love, but also Sharon's realization of loss and growth. She was receiving not just a material gift, but a profound message about undying love. Love that was shown through action, care, and preparation for the final days Ozzy knew would come. Though Ozzy had passed, this gift proved that his love for Sharon would never fade. The white flowers were the immortality of that love, the expression of a genuine love, a love that though gone would always remain in Sharon's heart and mind. This gift was a deeply moving farewell, but also meaningful. A love unspoken, a thank you for all the years of sacrifice, companionship, and love Sharon had given to Ozzy. Sharon Osbourne is not just Ozzy's wife, but also the pillar of strength, the companion, and the only one who helped Ozzy maintain balance throughout his tumultuous life. Looking at their relationship, you can see an incredible perseverance, not just in moments of glory, but also when facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. Sharon has shown that true love is not about perfection or grand moments, but the ability to love unconditionally, to accept mistakes, and to never give up on each other, no matter how difficult the circumstances may be. From the very first days of meeting Ozzy, Sharon was not just a wife, but also the one who helped Ozzy overcome great trials in life. From the ups and downs of his career to his battles with addiction and health issues, their relationship wasn't just a love story. It was a long journey built on sacrifice, profound understanding, and a lasting connection. When Ozzy rediscovered himself after failures, Sharon was always the one behind him, providing encouragement and being a steady anchor. Sharon was always the one who kept love and family intact through the storms of Ozzy's life. Whether they were facing life's tempests, career interruptions, or health crisis, Sharon never left Ozzy's side. Her unwavering determination and devotion helped Ozzy find himself again after each fall. No one could understand Ozzy like Sharon, not just because she was his wife, but because she was the only one who could see the beauty and strength hidden in a man so deeply wounded. Sharon didn't love Ozzy because of his fame or his career success. She loved him because of the person he truly was, someone carrying deep wounds, but always bravely facing them. Sharon's love for Ozzy wasn't blind admiration for a rock star. It was a deep understanding of a complex suffering but incredibly strong person. Sharon was the only one who could stand by Ozzy when he was at his lowest, when he was no longer a legend, but just a man full of scars and loneliness. As Ozzy fought Parkinson's disease, Sharon was the one who not only cared for him during his final days, but also witnessed the gradual decline of the man she had loved for a lifetime. She saw Ozzy lose the ability to do simple things like eat or hold objects, moments when he could no longer speak clearly, and times when he sat quietly staring out the window as if searching for a part of himself in old memories. Yet, no matter the circumstances, Sharon was always by his side, always providing comfort and endless understanding. It's certain that not everyone could do what Sharon did. The relationship between Sharon and Ozzy is a living testament to true love. A love that withstood the harshest trials of time and pain. Sharon was not only a wife but also a companion,